Sean Payton said our offseason wish list, and that is he needs to find a joker. Kay Adams threw a bunch of positions at him and said, do you need it? Do you need it? Do you need it? He said, what we need to get to the Super Bowl is we need a joker. So let's help Sean Payton find his joker. Why so serious? In this video, we're going to break down who the jokers could be. So Sean Payton went back to his time in New Orleans and talked about how he had jokers, like that mismatch position where you can line them up in the backfield. You can split them out as a wideout. You could put them out all the way wide. You could put them in the slot. And he talked about how he had it at times that were running backs like Reggie Bush, like obviously Darren Sprolles, and then at times that he had it as Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Shockey, and the different tight ends he had. So in this video, we're going to break down who are some of the different jokers that he could find in the draft. Maybe not even with that first pick, maybe a late round undrafted dude. We're going to look at it. Dan Orlovsky talked about, he was on with the DNVR dudes and said, hey, if you're going to try to find a joker position for a young quarterback, would a young quarterback prefer a tight end or a running back? Here's what he had to say.
Position do
tight
you
end.
think?
Tight end.
He does not even let Todd Davis finish the question. He said, tight end. I want a tight end no matter what. That's what he needs. Then you have Terrell Davis, obviously Hall of Famer, wearing his gold jacket, saying, hey, the position you actually need is a running back. So in this video, we're going to look at some running backs who I think Sean Payton really could easily get, who you could see rocking orange and blue. So shout out to a couple dudes on Twitter who are throwing names out there. I went on a deep dive. I don't watch a ton of college football. This is the time I really start gearing up and finding which of these dudes do I want on the Denver Broncos. So we're going to break down a couple of them. So I think we would be remiss if we did not start off with talking about the running back that everyone is talking about. Most mock draft consensus boards have him falling by pick number 10, which would be out of range for the Denver Broncos, and that's Ashton Jeanty out of Boise right here, right? I think you look at downsides for him. Again, you're talking Sean Payton wanting a joker, right? A mismatch, someone you can line up all over the place. And he makes dudes miss, but is 10 way too rich for the Broncos to be trying to get a running back when there are other needs? We know Sean wants to develop the interior there. I love him there in space. Like, that is exactly what Sean's talking about. Like, you look at him here, he's basically a receiver. You see the athleticism to straight up hurdle a dude. But I think if you're talking downsides, it is too rich for our blood to be drafting at 10 a running back when that is a position that does not last that long in the NFL. I think maybe the other downside of it is the fact that he played at Boise State, and are you playing against top-notch teams all the time? And so it's easy to look great. Did he look that great when he was fumbling once it got to the playoff time? And will he be able to stand up to playing in the NFL a whole season? But let me know in the comments what you think about him. Next dude got put on my radar first by hearing Zach By on 104.3 The Fan. Absolutely obsessed with this cat. This is Brashard Smith. You're looking at the big board here, and you have to scroll a long time. He's mocked as like pick number 400, meaning you could easily get him in like round 4 or 5. He could even fall out of this. A 21-year-old dude who started his career off and played high school wide receiver and never even played running back until he got here to SMU, and he just broke all sorts of records, and people are just absolutely wild here to see kind of what he brings to the table. So let's watch a couple of it. So you first off just see his insane speed. He reminds me of Deebo Samuel, watching his speed in the hole. And then once he hits the edge, it's game over. But just looking, he's not just like a more of a Marvin Mims guy where he's only good in space. Like you see him here, get the edge and then cut it back inside, be able to bowl over a dude. Again, I think downside for him is like you're playing an SMU, or you playing against the best tacklers in the league. But I think this skill of his ability to make cuts translates to the NFL. I would absolutely love taking a flyer here. And when you look at this, And as we look at some of these, and then here's the part where Sean Payton said a joker can do, they're not just a great running back, they're also great at wide out. And look at this. He runs the route like a receiver, and then he toe taps. Like, how many wide receivers can do that? I just feel like Bo Nix would have an absolute heyday with him as a receiver. And watching this and knowing, well, we could get him in the 4th, 5th, or 6th round. Why are we going to use pick 10 on Ashton, or pick 20 on Ashton Jeanty? Let's load up somewhere else and find a different elite person there. Maybe trade back and find a running back later. Next person on the big board is probably a little more familiar name. and I'm not super high on him, but this is going to be Ohio State running back Trayvon Henderson, which is mocked as a second round day 2 pick, Trayvon Henderson. And the reason I'm not in love with him is he kind of gives me Ron Dane or Monte Ball vibes. Do you remember Wisconsin running backs who you're all hyped on? I remember when the Broncos first got Monte Ball, I'm like, we're going to be amazing. And it never translated. Like the skills that work in the Big Ten, like guys are just bigger, faster, stronger in the NFL. And so it doesn't always translate. So not crazy about that, but let me know what you think about Trayvon Henderson. And at that point, knowing that there is such talent later, really deep in this draft, it's like, well, let's not use our second round draft pick on him. If you were to take a flyer on Brashard Smith earlier, that'd be one thing, but I'm not crazy about that here. Last one we're going to take a look at, University of Texas, Hook 'em Horns, I think they say, something like that. And this is Jaden Blue. First play right here is like just seeing him as a wide receiver. There's a lot of running backs who'd whiff on that catch. Like great catch at the biggest moment there, seeing his route running, but just wait till you see him as not just like a pass catcher, but his athleticism as well. Love that mismatch ability right there though. But let's take a look here. Just his speed, absolutely wild. And I would absolutely love to see this here. See him catch that edge, and he's gone. And Texas played some tough games this year, and like a lot of hype for them. So what of those four, right? If we're taking a look at Jeanty, Brashard Smith, Trayvon Henderson, Jaden Blue, who would you be most stoked for? And who do you think is like the ideal joker? Is it a tight end? Do you think it's a Taysom Hill, Jeremy Shockey, Jimmy Graham type that Sean Payton needs here? Or do you think it would be better to load up and have that joker position be a running back like the ones that we just went through, more a la Darren Sprolles, Reggie Bush? And do you also think there might be a joker on this current Denver Broncos roster? There are a lot of people who think that Marvin Mims could continue to improve. The reason that Marvin Mims wasn't a true joker was that anytime he was lined up in the backfield, he was never a true threat to run all of the different running back routes. That he was a good edge guy, reverse guy, and he could catch the edge, but he never showed that upfield, like make one cut and hit the interior part of a hole. Like that's terrifying. He's outweighed by hundreds and hundreds of pounds by the defensive players there. So let me know, do you think could Marvin Mims be that dude? And we don't even need to worry about drafting a joker. Instead, let's load up at the inside linebacker position. Let's load up, get a safety here to replace PJ Locke. What are you thinking? Where do we find our joker? What of those dudes do you love? And Broncos country, we got a ton to Bo-LIEVE in. I'm just bricking for days.